For almost 2 years, I loved Olivia without asking for anything in return. I never confessed dramatically or demanded that she notice me. I simply stayed beside her every day, believing my actions would eventually speak louder than words. Whenever she struggled with assignments, I offered to help. When she forgot her books, I carried them. If a presentation needed fixing the night before class, I stayed awake until sunrise, making sure every slide looked perfect. Marcus used to shake his head every time he saw me. "Dylan," he sighed one afternoon, "you're doing boyfriend work without being her boyfriend." I laughed. "I'm just helping." "You've been just helping for almost 2 years. So she's gotten used to taking everything without giving anything back." I shrugged. "You don't understand." "No," he replied. "You don't." I ignored him because I believed love required patience. Every morning, Olivia greeted me with the same warm smile. "Good morning, Dylan." "Morning. Can you look over my essay before class?" "Of course." "You're the best." Those 3 words always filled me with hope. "You're the best." I convinced myself they meant something more. One afternoon, while we sat outside the library, she leaned closer. "Dylan." "Yeah. I don't know what I'd do without you." My heart nearly stopped. "You'll never have to find out." She smiled softly before returning to her notebook. That smile stayed with me for days. Marcus rolled his eyes when I told him. "She says that because you're useful." "No." "Yes. She cares." "If she cared, she'd ask how you're doing once in a while." I opened my mouth, then closed it. He wasn't completely wrong. Still, I defended her. "She's busy." "Dylan." "What?" "I hope I'm wrong." "So do I." College festival week arrived, and the entire campus transformed overnight. Music echoed across every building. Colorful lights covered the walkways. Food stalls lined the courtyard. Students laughed everywhere I looked. Olivia seemed unusually excited. She found me near the engineering building. "Dylan." I turned. "There you are. You've been looking for me?" She nodded enthusiastically. "I need a favor." "Anything." She smiled. "I knew you'd say that." "What do you need?" "Just come to the main stage tonight. That's all." "Please." "Sure." She bit her lip. "And we're something nice." I blinked. "Something nice?" "Yeah." "Why?" "You'll see." Before I could ask another question, Chloe appeared beside her. "There you are," Chloe said with a grin. Olivia looked at me. "Don't be late." "I won't." They walked away together. Marcus appeared from nowhere. "What was that about?" "I don't know." He narrowed his eyes. "I don't trust Chloe. She's Olivia's best friend." "Exactly. You worry too much." He crossed his arms. "I've seen that girl whispering and laughing every time you walk away. They're probably talking about class." "Dylan." "What?" "I have a bad feeling." I forced a smile. "I think tonight might finally be the night." "The night?" "I think Olivia is going to accept my feelings." Marcus stared at me. "Did she say that?" "No." "Then why do you think it?" "She told me to dress nicely." His shoulders dropped. "That's your evidence?" "And she specifically invited me." He rubbed his forehead. "I really hope you're right." Hours later, I stood in front of my mirror adjusting my shirt for the 10th time. I had never cared so much about how I looked. Maybe this was finally happening. Maybe all those months of patience had meant something. Maybe Marcus had been wrong. When I reached campus, the festival was already packed. Students crowded every corner. Music thundered through giant speakers. Bright lights flashed across the stage. I spotted Olivia backstage. She waved excitedly. "You came." I said I would. "You look great." My face warmed. "Thanks." She stepped closer. "I have one more surprise." "What is it?" She smiled mysteriously. "You'll find out in a minute." Before I could respond, a student handed her a microphone. She looked back at me. "Ready?" "For what?" She laughed softly. "Just trust me." I nodded. "I always do." She reached for my hand. My heart pounded as she led me toward the brightly lit stage. Hundreds of students turned to watch us. I could already hear whispers spreading through the crowd, and every hopeful beat inside my chest told me my life was about to change forever. Walking beside Mia felt unreal. Students whispered as we crossed campus, but for the first time, those whispers weren't aimed at mocking me. Mia walked calmly beside me as if nothing unusual had happened. "So," she said with a smile, "where are you taking me?" "The closest cafe before I embarrass myself again." She laughed. "You're honest. I like that." After we sat down, I took a deep breath. "I owe you the truth." "I'm listening." "I didn't plan to ask you out. I was humiliated, and I acted without thinking. She stirred her drink. I figured. You did. You looked like someone trying to escape, not flirt. I sighed. I'm sorry if I put you in an awkward position. You didn't. I didn't. She shook her head. I said yes because I couldn't stand watching everyone laugh at you. I looked at her in surprise. You felt sorry for me? No. She smiled gently. I respected you. Most people would have run away. You stood back up. Her words eased the pain I had carried since the festival. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You still owe me dinner. I laughed for the first time that day. Daniel nearly fell out of his chair when I told him everything later. You asked the most beautiful girl on campus out in front of everyone. I wasn't exactly thinking. He burst into laughter. And she actually said yes? Dylan, that's karma working at record speed. It wasn't like that. Oh, it absolutely was. Meanwhile, campus gossip spread everywhere. Instead of talking about Olivia's prank, students talked about Mia and me. Every hallway echoed with the same conversation. Did you see them together? They actually look good together. I never expected that. Across campus, Olivia overheard every word. Chloe nudged her. Relax. They're only talking because your prank backfired. Olivia folded her arms. I know. So why do you look annoyed? I'm not. You've been staring at them all day. I haven't. Chloe smirked. Then why do you care? Olivia stayed silent. She couldn't explain why seeing me laugh with someone else bothered her. Later that afternoon, Mia found me outside the library. Hey. Hi. You look happier today. I think that's because nobody laughed at me. They're laughing with you now. I never thought one dinner invitation would change anything. She smiled. Sometimes one moment changes everything. We walked across campus again. This time, I didn't care who was watching. Before we reached the parking lot, she stopped. Dylan, yeah. The college gala is next weekend. I know. She smiled nervously. I was wondering. What? Would you like to go with me? I stared at her, convinced I had heard wrong. You mean, as your date? She nodded. If you want to. A smile spread across my face before I could stop it. I'd love to. She smiled even brighter. Good. As we walked away together, I didn't notice Olivia watching us from across the courtyard. But judging by the expression on her face, something had already begun to change. The college gala felt like another world. When Mia walked into the ballroom beside me, every conversation seemed to stop. She wore a simple blue dress, yet she looked more elegant than anyone else in the room. You look nervous, she whispered. I am. Relax. You're here with me. For the first time, I actually believed I belonged there. Students who had barely remembered my name suddenly smiled at me. Dylan, great to see you. We should study together sometime. You and Mia look amazing. I couldn't help laughing at how quickly people changed. Across the room, I noticed Olivia. She glanced at us for a second before pretending to focus on Jake. Jake barely noticed her. He spent most of the evening posing for photos and talking loudly with anyone holding a camera. Another picture, he shouted. Olivia stood alone, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Mia leaned closer. Don't look back. I'm trying not to. Then keep looking forward. Later, soft music filled the ballroom. May I have this dance? Mia asked. I smiled. I thought you'd never ask. As we stepped onto the dance floor, I felt every worry disappear. You dance better than I expected, she teased. My expectations were low too. She laughed. After a moment of silence, she looked into my eyes. Can I tell you something? Of course. I admire people who stay kind after getting hurt. I looked away. I wasn't feeling very kind after the festival. You still didn't become cruel. I wanted to, but you didn't. I sighed. Olivia's betrayal hurt more than I can explain. I know. For 2 years, I believed she cared. And now I don't know what to believe. Mia squeezed my hand gently. Believe this instead. What? You deserve someone who values your heart before your kindness. Her words stayed with me. You shouldn't spend your life chasing someone who never appreciated you, she continued. I guess I've been doing exactly that. Then stop. I'll try. No, she said with a smile. You'll succeed. Across the ballroom, Chloe noticed Olivia staring again. She nudged her shoulder. You're watching them an awful lot. I'm not. You've barely looked away all night. Olivia frowned. So what? Chloe laughed. Don't tell me you're jealous. Olivia crossed her arms. Jealous? Of him? Don't be ridiculous. Then why do you look upset? I'm not upset. Really? Olivia didn't answer. Even she couldn't explain the strange ache growing inside her chest every time she saw me smiling with Mia. The music ended, and the crowd applauded. As Mia and I stepped off the dance floor, an older professor approached us. Dylan. Yes, Professor Harris. I've been reviewing your recent engineering work. I blinked. You have. He nodded. Your designs are impressive. Thank you, sir. I'm leading a new innovation project this semester. I listened carefully. I'd like you to join the team. I stared at him. Me? You have talent, and I believe you're capable of much more than you realize. I'd be honored. He smiled. Excellent. Report to my office Monday morning. As he walked away, Mia grinned. Looks like tonight wasn't only about dancing. I laughed. It feels like my life is finally changing. She looked at me warmly. No, Dylan. What? Your life isn't changing. It's finally beginning. Joining Professor Harris's innovation project changed the way I saw myself. On the first day, he reviewed my design and smiled. Excellent work, Dylan. You really think so? I don't give false compliments. For the first time, I felt proud of my own ability instead of hoping someone else's approval would make me happy. A week later, Ryan approached me after class. I've been hearing about your project. News travels fast. He laughed. It does around here. Want to join the entrepreneurship club? Me? We need people with ideas, not just talk. I accepted. During the first meeting, I shared a business concept connected to our engineering project. The room became quiet. Finally, Ryan nodded. I like it. Another student smiled. That's actually brilliant. Hearing strangers respect my ideas felt better than years of chasing attention from one person. Before every presentation, Mia stayed beside me. You've got this. I still get nervous. Good. It means you care. What if I mess up? She smiled. Then you'll learn and do even better next time. Her confidence slowly became my confidence. One afternoon, after class, Olivia stepped in front of me. Dylan, can we talk? I'm sorry, Olivia. I have somewhere to be. It'll only take a minute. I really can't. I walked away politely. Behind me, I heard her sigh. The next day, she tried again. Please, just listen. I'm busy. You're avoiding me. I'm moving forward. Every refusal seemed to hurt her more than I expected. Later, Chloe found me outside the library. Dylan. Hi. I owe you something. What? I'm sorry. I looked at her quietly. The prank went too far, she admitted. I thought it would just be a joke. It wasn't. I know. Did Olivia send you? She shook her head. No. Has she apologized? Chloe looked away. She wants to, but she won't. Why? She thinks apologizing will make her look weak. I smiled sadly. It makes people stronger. Chloe had no answer. That evening, Mia invited me for coffee. Someone joined us a few minutes later. Dylan, Mia said. This is my older sister, Emma. Nice to meet you. You too. Emma replied warmly. As we talked, Emma suddenly looked at Mia. Should I tell him? Mia smiled gently. It's okay. Emma turned to me. Mia understands your pain because she's lived it. I looked at Mia. What happened? She hesitated before answering. I trusted someone completely. And they betrayed me. I'm sorry. It took me a long time to believe people could be kind again. I nodded slowly. Maybe that's why you helped me. She smiled. I recognized the same look in your eyes. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I laughed softly. I guess we're both recovering. Together, Mia said. As the weeks passed, we spent more time studying, laughing, and encouraging each other. I stopped checking whether Olivia was nearby. I stopped wondering if she'd finally notice me. For the first time in 2 years, my happiness no longer depended on her. Across campus, Olivia watched from a distance as Mia and I laughed outside the engineering building. She quietly whispered to herself, "When did I lose him?" No one answered. Deep inside, she already knew. She hadn't lost me the day of the prank. She had lost me the moment she chose public humiliation over the person who had loved her without asking for anything in return. And while she was only beginning to understand that truth, I was finally learning something even more important. Choosing myself wasn't selfish. It was the first truly right decision I had ever made. The entrepreneurship competition became the biggest event of the semester. Investors, local media, and professors filled the auditorium. Every team wanted to win, but Professor Harris believed in ours. You've earned this opportunity, he told me. I won't waste it. Ryan smiled. Neither will we. When I presented our project, the audience listened carefully. As I finished, applause echoed through the room. One investor nodded. Outstanding work. Another whispered, that's the strongest proposal today. For the first time, people recognized me because of my talent, not because of a cruel joke. Later that afternoon, Chloe found Daniel behind the student center. I can't keep this secret anymore, she said. Daniel folded his arms. What secret? She lowered her head. The festival prank. It was my idea. Daniel stayed silent. I thought it would be funny. I convinced Olivia to do it. And she agreed? She never stopped to think how badly Dylan would be hurt. Daniel quietly started recording their conversation on his phone. I feel guilty every day, Chloe continued. I never expected things to go this far. So everyone laughed because you wanted entertainment? Tears filled her eyes. Yes. The next morning, Daniel shared the recording with the student council. Within hours, everyone on campus knew the truth. Students who had laughed at me now looked ashamed. I can't believe they planned it. That's disgusting. Dylan never deserved that. The same hallways that once mocked me were suddenly filled with sympathy. Olivia walked through campus as whispers followed her. I never knew she was like that. She humiliated someone for fun. I feel terrible for Dylan. Jake heard the rumors almost immediately. He frowned at Olivia. This is becoming bad for my image. She stared at him. Your image. I'm not getting dragged into this. So you're leaving? I have to think about my reputation. Without another word, he walked away. Olivia watched him disappear, realizing the person she had chosen over me cared only about himself. That evening, she found me outside the engineering building. Dylan, I stopped walking. She looked exhausted. I'm sorry. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I was stupid. I stayed quiet. I never wanted to destroy you. But you did. I listened to Chloe instead of thinking for myself. I know. I regret it every single day. She wiped her eyes. Can you forgive me? I looked at her for a long moment. The pain is gone. Hope appeared in her eyes. But trust is different. Her smile faded. Some wounds heal, I said softly. But trust never fully returns. She began crying harder. I wish I could change that day. So do I. I never realized what I had. I know. I'm too late, aren't I? I nodded gently. Yes. She covered her face, unable to speak. At that moment, Mia quietly walked toward us. She didn't interrupt. She didn't argue. She simply stood beside me. Our hands found each other without a word. Olivia noticed the gesture immediately. She understood everything. Mia wasn't proving she had won. She was proving she would never let me stand alone again. Olivia looked at us through tearful eyes. I hope, one day, you're truly happy. I smiled peacefully. I already am. She slowly turned and walked away. I watched her leave without anger or satisfaction. The chapter of my life that had once been filled with heartbreak was finally over. Standing beside Mia, surrounded by people who respected me for who I was instead of how useful I could be, I realized something simple. Real loyalty isn't spoken through promises. It's shown by the people who choose to stay beside you when the entire world gives them a reason to walk away. Campus changed faster than I expected. The same students who once surrounded Olivia now walked past her without saying hello. Whispers followed her everywhere. I can't believe she did that. She lost my respect. I don't want anything to do with her. Chloe wasn't treated any better. Students refused to partner with her in class. Conversations stopped whenever she approached. One afternoon, Daniel looked at me and smiled. Karma finally caught up with them. I watched Olivia sitting alone across the courtyard. I know. So, does it feel good? I thought about it for a moment. No. He looked surprised. Really, I wanted revenge for a long time. And now, I don't. Why not? Because my life is already getting better. Daniel laughed softly. I never thought I'd hear you say that. Neither did I. Later that day, Professor Harris called me into his office. I've been watching you. I hope that's a good thing. He smiled. It is. He closed the file on his desk. You've handled everything with remarkable maturity. I've just been trying to move forward. Exactly. He nodded with approval. Real success begins when you stop chasing people who never deserved your time. His words stayed with me. I spent 2 years trying to earn someone's love. And now I'm trying to build a future instead. Professor Harris smiled proudly. That's the best decision you've ever made. That evening, Mia and I stayed late in the innovation lab preparing for the competition finals. She looked unusually quiet. Everything okay? She hesitated. Can I tell you something? Always. She took a slow breath. The person who betrayed me. You don't have to talk about it. I want to. I listened carefully. I trusted him with everything. And he broke that trust? She nodded. He cheated, lied, and made me believe it was my fault. I'm sorry. For a long time, I thought I wasn't enough. You were. She smiled sadly. It took me years to believe that. I reached across the table. You helped me believe the same thing about myself. She looked into my eyes. Maybe that's why we found each other. I think so. She smiled. I'm not afraid anymore. Neither am I. We returned to our project, laughing between ideas and correcting each other's designs. Hours passed without either of us noticing. As we packed our bags, Mia looked at me. What do you want after graduation? I smiled. I want to build something meaningful. A company? Maybe. She laughed. I was hoping you'd say that. What about you? I want a future where I never have to pretend to be someone else. You won't. And? She paused. I'd like you to be part of it. My heart raced. I'd like that too. We walked across the quiet campus under the evening lights, talking about dreams instead of regrets. For the first time, the future felt brighter than the past. Across the courtyard, Olivia watched us from a distance. She saw us laughing over simple conversations. She saw how naturally Mia stood beside me. She saw something she could never recover. Popularity had disappeared. Friends had vanished. But none of that hurt as much as realizing she had lost the one person who had loved her without conditions. She finally understood that trust, once broken, could never be rebuilt exactly as it was. As Mia slipped her hand into mine, I didn't look back. Not because I hated Olivia, but because I no longer lived in the part of my life where she was the center of my happiness. Karma had already done its work. It hadn't given me revenge. It had given me peace. The day of the national competition finally arrived. Our team stood backstage while hundreds of guests filled the auditorium. Investors, company executives, professors, and reporters waited as Dean Wilson walked onto the stage. He smiled at the audience. Today, we celebrate innovation, determination, and the future. Ryan whispered, I'm nervous. So am I admitted. Professor Harris looked at us and smiled. No matter what happens, you've already made me proud. A few moments later, Dean Wilson opened the envelope. The first place winner of this year's National Innovation Competition is... The entire room fell silent. Professor Harris's team. The auditorium exploded with applause. Ryan hugged me. We did it. Professor Harris laughed. I knew you could. I stood frozen until Mia grabbed my hand. Go, she whispered. You earned this. As we walked onto the stage, cameras flashed from every direction. Dean Wilson handed me the trophy. Congratulations, Dylan. Thank you, sir. He smiled. Your future begins today. After the ceremony, representatives from several major companies approached us. We'd like to offer you an internship. Another executive smiled. Our company would also like to discuss funding for your project. Ryan looked at me in disbelief. Is this actually happening? I laughed. I think it is. Soon reporters surrounded me. Dylan, how does it feel to win? What inspired your project? What advice would you give other students? For the first time, people wanted to hear my story because of my achievements instead of the humiliation that had once defined me. As the interviews ended, I stepped outside for a quiet moment. Dylan. I turned. Olivia stood a few steps away. Her eyes were red from crying. Can we talk? I looked at Mia. She nodded gently. I'll wait over there. After she walked away, Olivia faced me. I've been thinking about this for months. I stayed silent. I was wrong. I know. I thought losing my popularity was the worst thing that could happen. She shook her head. It wasn't. What was? Losing you. A tear rolled down her cheek. I didn't realize how much you meant to me until I watched you become someone I could no longer reach. I listened without interrupting. I love you, Dylan. Her voice trembled. I know it's late. It is. But please. She stepped closer. Give me one more chance. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. I looked into her tearful eyes and searched my own heart. Months ago, I would have given anything to hear those words. Now they felt like echoes from another life. I don't hate you anymore, I said quietly. She looked hopeful. Then, but I'm not the same person. Her smile slowly disappeared. The person who waited for you every day is gone. I'm sorry. I believe you. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I smiled gently. You don't have to. What do you mean? You already gave me something. She frowned. I hurt you. You also taught me the hardest lesson of my life. She wiped away another tear. What lesson? that I should never build my happiness around someone who doesn't value it. She lowered her head. If that day had never happened, I might never have met Mia. She closed her eyes. I understand. I truly hope you find happiness someday. I wanted that happiness to be with you. I know. I turned toward Mia. She smiled softly as I walked to her. Without saying a word, I reached for her hand. She held it tightly. Ready? She asked. I nodded. More than ever. Together we walked toward our future. I never looked back. Behind us, Olivia quietly cried, finally accepting that some choices cannot be undone, some trust cannot be rebuilt, and some people are only meant to teach us who we need to become before they disappear from our lives forever. Months passed faster than I expected. The internship I earned through the national competition became my first full-time career opportunity. Every morning, I walked into the office with confidence I had never imagined possible. One afternoon, my manager smiled. Dylan, your design has been approved. Really, you've exceeded every expectation. I thanked him, but deep inside I remembered the version of myself who once believed his only value came from helping someone who barely noticed him. After work, Mia was waiting outside. Long day, she asked. The best kind. She laughed. Come on. Dinner is my treat. Our relationship never depended on games or guessing. If something bothered us, we talked. If one of us struggled, the other stayed. Trust wasn't something we demanded. It was something we built together every single day. Daniel still found ways to make me laugh. One evening, he raised his coffee cup. To the greatest revenge ever. I smiled. I didn't get revenge. You did. How? By being genuinely happy. Mia laughed. He's actually right. Daniel pointed at me. You didn't waste your life proving someone wrong. No, you just proved yourself right. I nodded. I guess I did. A few days before graduation, Professor Harris invited me to his office one last time. I have something to tell you. I'm listening. He smiled proudly. When we first met, you were talented but uncertain. I remember. Now you're confident without becoming arrogant. I learned from good people. He shook my hand. Painful endings often become the beginning of something better. I believe that now. I'm proud of the man you've become. Thank you for believing in me before I believed in myself. Graduation week brought unexpected news. Olivia had transferred to another university. She quietly accepted responsibility for everything that had happened and chose to start over somewhere new. I didn't celebrate. I simply wished her peace. The day before the ceremony, Chloe asked to meet me. She looked completely different from the confident girl I remembered. Dylan. Hi, Chloe. I don't expect forgiveness. I stayed silent. I just wanted to say I'm truly sorry. I know. I've spent months thinking about what I did. She lowered her head. I hurt someone for entertainment. You did. I never want to become that person again. I nodded. I hope you succeed. She smiled through tears. Thank you. Take care of yourself. You too. As she walked away, I realized people really could change when they accepted responsibility instead of running from it. Graduation day finally arrived. Students filled the campus wearing caps and gowns. Families cheered from every corner. Daniel found me first. Engineer. I laughed. Still making jokes? Always. Ryan joined us. Ready for the next chapter? More than ready. When the ceremony ended, Mia slipped her hand into mine. We did it. We really did. Together we walked across campus until we reached the old festival stage. I stopped. Mia looked at me. Thinking about that day? I nodded. I thought my life was over. And now? I smiled at the empty stage. Now I know it was only the beginning. She squeezed my hand. You don't regret meeting me that way? Not for a second. I looked into her eyes. For years, I thought I had lost the girl of my dreams. She smiled. But you didn't. No. I was simply chasing the wrong one. She wrapped her arms around me. I'm glad you finally found the right one. I didn't just find her. What? I found someone who chose me as much as I chose her. We stood together as the evening sun settled over the campus. I looked one last time at the stage where I had once been laughed at by hundreds of people. Instead of pain, I felt gratitude. That humiliation had pushed me toward the people who truly valued me. It taught me that love without respect is never love, that success means nothing without peace, and that the right person never makes you beg for a place in their life. As Mia smiled beside me, I understood the greatest lesson of all. Sometimes the biggest victory isn't winning back the person who rejected you. It's having the courage to walk away and choose the person who has been choosing you all along. That day I believed my life had ended. In reality, it was the day my real life finally began.